I'm a believer that this team's going to win the national championships.
The rivalries, it's up there on top of the list, man. And if we allow them to devalue it, we lose a lot of what makes college football special. Don't let them do it. Don't let them devalue what it means to you.
And welcome to Juck on Bucks. Appreciate you so much for joining me late on a Saturday night. I went to practice number 3 with, there was probably about 1,000 of us Buckeye fans at practice, and it was awesome. And we've got some observations from practice, but I got to say, practice number 3, and this team, which with all this turnover, you would expect to not be so crisp. I went in thinking, all right, when they get into team periods, make sure you don't take a ton away from it because it's going to be sloppy naturally. It's always sloppy. I've played on football teams. It's never crisp on practice number 3. My goodness. The way these guys played on practice number 3 has got me thinking they've got 21 more of these. They're going to be an absolute force. And we're going to go over some of the units, some of the players that we've been talking about, that, questions about this guy or that guy. I took in a lot, and I was able to do a video with Mark Givler over at Buckeye Huddle. That's my new employer, Buckeye Huddle. It's really funny. The other day I said, I was talking to my wife and my son in the kitchen, and I was talking about it. And I said, yeah, my boss, and they busted out laughing. You say your boss? It's, yeah, I got a boss. Never had a boss. I've been in business for myself my whole life. So they never heard that. It was really a big laughing moment at Dad that I said my boss. Yeah. Anyway, things been going great. I wrote another article. So I wrote my article, another recap. My recap article will be on the site tomorrow, I'm assuming. But I just finished it not too long ago because I was dragging. I had to drive home and everything. But a really awesome day. Tons of Buckeye fans there. I wish that there was more. I guess it didn't sell out. That surprised me. I thought everybody would want to go. It was a gorgeous day. Perfect. I don't even think I sweat one time all day, and it's been so hot recently. So perfect for that. It might have even been chilly. There was a little bit of wind. But a really, really awesome experience getting able to take in that practice. And I know that for those of you there, just loved it too. Everybody loved it that was there. I talked to plenty of people. So next year, if you didn't go, it is, going to a game is great, but being able to go and do that, very, very few times do we ever get to do that. Even the guys in the media, they only get to go to a couple of those now and a couple of those in spring, and then maybe one bowl practice or something, and that's it. So for fans to be able to go for $25 or $30 to check that out, and they're right up on the action. I mean, right there. So really cool thing that they're doing down there. Julian was dialed in all day. And if it was, if you were scoring rounds, right? So round 1 would have been day 1 of practice, round 2, day 2. Today would have been a 10-8 round for Julian. I mean, it was a clear, decisive. Julian was the guy. If you didn't know these two guys were in a quarterback competition, you didn't know who they were, and you just watched practice, you just said, okay, well, that's the clear starter, that's the clear backup, and that's the clear third stringer. As Tavian got all the physical tools in the world, he's just it's going to take a couple years. It's going to take maybe not a couple. It's going to take at least a good year before things start to slow down for him. It's just clear, I remember a lot of people saying we're going to have to watch out for him. He might be able to come in and win the job. That's definitely not happened. He just needs time to learn how to process everything. He's got a lot to learn. He's got a ways to go. It got me thinking, actually, I really hope Bryce Underwood's on the same curve, because if Bryce Underwood's on the same curve that Julian is, though Bryce played a higher division of high school football, if Bryce is on that same kind of curve, they're in trouble. They're in big trouble, because if he's looking like Tavian is right now, just a ways to go. Nothing wrong with it. The skill's there, obviously. But a little bit about what I keyed in on today is I wanted to go in specifically keying in on the lines of scrimmage, particularly the defensive line. And as luck would have it, it was just positioned so that they were right in front of me. The offensive line and the defensive line got to really key in on both of those groups, which was great. When we talk about the defensive line, Kenyatta Jackson is obviously a guy that when we looked at this situation this year, Kenyatta got to be a dude. He's just got to be a dude. And it would be all the better if he was the leader of that group. And Kenyatta, a guy who was a top 50 overall recruit in the class of 2022, all the talent in the world, obviously the perfect physical frame for what you want in that position, in that role. And last year, I think starting with maybe the Tennessee game, so right at the beginning of the playoff run, I think he had something like 25 snaps in the Tennessee game, made the most of it, got that ridiculous penalty that wasn't a penalty, but just started playing really, really good and played good through the playoffs. He was all over the place. So looking like, all right, you're coming into 2025. Can he carry that over? And can he be the guy? And it is very clear. Well, number one, he's the first guy up in every drill, and he's got a mouthpiece. He's asserting himself. Feels like he is taking a leadership role in that group, and he is. There's a couple guys that stand out in that room when they're going through those drills. Obviously, Kenyatta is one of them. Violence, fast violence, and it's pretty cool to watch. I don't think there's any way that he is not a breakout star on this defense. And when we talk about, potential MVPs of each side of the ball, we could be looking at a situation where the MVP on both sides of the ball come from the same high school, and that's Shaman Abdana. Because when we look at the defensive line, it needs a big performance. It needs to be good. We know the defense is stout in the secondary. We know the linebacker room is stout. The defensive line is the question. If Kenyatta Jackson can lead that defensive line to an excellent performance this year, he could potentially be the MVP. And him and Jeremiah both went to Shaman on Madonna, so could be interesting. But Kenyatta was impressive, doggone impressive, and that was great to see. Now, how about Bo Atkinson? New Bo Atkinson. Now, Bo, the transfer from North Carolina. I will say a couple things. Number one, Bo does not look as jacked as he did when he was in North Carolina. Looks like he's slimmed down a little bit, and it looked like that in the pictures that the official pictures from the other day. I wonder if I still got those. Here we go. I got one loaded up. Let me pull it up. So when you look at this picture, Bo doesn't look as big, and I noticed he doesn't look as big in this picture as he did in his pictures at North Carolina last year. And then saw him in person. He was tall, but kind of, slender, and not sure why that is. I'll say this: relentless motor, and he gets after it, but doesn't got a lot of bend, doesn't got a lot of athleticism, kind of rigid, kind of stiff. And that's okay. You can still get it done being rigid and stiff. He made some plays in 11 on 11 at the end of the day. But Edric was obviously out. Good news was we saw Edric jogging. Huge smile on his face. Certainly not acting like a guy who is going to be out for any length of time. He was happy. He was trying to get in. He even kind of got cut in line one time and was trying to get him one of the drills, and they had to kick him off to the side. Big personality on him. But Caden McDonald was looking pretty good, moving pretty well. We've talked plenty about Will Smith, Caden McDonald's backup, a guy who, after him, you've got sophomore Eric Mensah, freshman Max Roy, who we'll get to in a sec, which means it's Will Smith. It's got to be Will Smith, because Eric Mensah's, he's a several-year project. He's got some time. He needs to learn. It's really just Will. Well, Will, up to 292 pounds, he's listed at, which, that's up quite a bit. his feet move like he is a defensive end. Quick feet. And they got to, because he is 35 pounds less than Caden McDonald. So McDonald goes out, you bring in his backup, 35 pounds less. He better be able to move. And K-Max got it all. He's got the size and the quick feet. But Will, really quick feet, as quick as some of those defensive ends. And that's good. We're going to need it. I just might have to make a big mea culpa here, guys. I might have to make a big mea culpa. Now, as you know, or maybe you don't, I have been very much on the side that, not the side, I don't know if it's a side, but my stance has been, I have been sold a bill of goods one too many times on what nobody sold me on it. I sold myself on it that CJ Hicks was going to be something that he never turned out to be. And it's just, I've gotten myself all amped up and wound up about it since the dude was in high school, and it's just never happened. It's never come to fruition. And I wasn't going to let it happen again because he didn't do a good enough job at linebacker. Now he's moving positions. He's built perfectly to be a great linebacker. He's not built to be a perfect edge, but he's down at edge now. And I saw it in the spring game, and it wasn't natural, and it wasn't fluid, and he wasn't turning his speed into power, and it just didn't look right. And today I keyed in on him, and I just, for starters, and this is no surprise to anybody, the speed with which he moves is at a different level than anybody else in that room. That's obvious. There's no need to even specify that. Everybody knows it. But it is now looking more natural, and the more impressive part than the pass rush, which, you know, we assumed, we know he can blitz, really good blitzer. How can he rush against an offensive tackle? And we saw a couple instances during that spring game against Phillip Daniels where he did pretty well. Now, Phillip Daniels is, we'll get to him when we get to the offensive line. He is not anywhere near as far along as we originally thought, or we were sold on, I think, by some people when he came over from Minnesota. You know, he was supposed to be, supposedly, we got 2 starting tackles, and he is not only not the next tackle up, he's going to be behind Ian Moore, I think. So he's a ways away from being on the field. And CJ Hicks beat him a couple times during the spring game. Well, CJ Hicks today took on a pulling guard and executed a beautiful stack and shed to make a tackle in the run game. And my jaw dropped. Like, it looked like something we've never seen him do when he played linebacker. It just was like, it was speed, it was physical, it was technique, it was everything you've waited for him. And bam, there it was. And that's on top of turning that speed into power. And I hope I'm going to eat my words on this, but I got to say, I was really, really impressed. I really was. So, like I said, I've been thinking that this isn't going to be something very consequential to this defense. And I'm starting to think, hey, maybe it just might. Maybe it just might be. It's pretty fun to watch. Caden Curry, noticeably bigger, which is great. And in 11-on-11, he had a couple of sacks today. Bo Atkinson against, I believe, Phillip Daniels, collapsed the pocket a couple times in 11-on-11. Then we got the Jason Moore, Ty Malone situation. So who's playing after Edric? It's Jason Moore, Ty Malone, or Jarquez Carter. Now, you know my guy Jarquez Carter, I love. He was out today, as was Logan George. Neither of them were playing, nor freshman Max Roy. Now, Max Roy, I call the third Hamilton brother. And my gosh, is this just a oddly large kid, man. I mean, like, it doesn't even look natural. It doesn't look natural. Just the dimensions of this. Yeah, he's the third Hamilton brother. He's gonna be hard to move out of the way. And he'll be a one tech for sure. So Jarquez out, which means you had Jason Moore and Ty Malone. And if you're just watching these two guys in their defensive line drills, it is readily apparent that there is one that stands out, and that's Ty Malone. Ty Malone is just a more fluid mover. He's a more athletic guy than Jason is, which is, kind of stunning. Jason is 6'7", 300. Malone, maybe 6'4", 300. But Jason was an edge in high school, and he was almost as big as he is now. Then on 11 on 11, who was running with K-Mac, they were splitting it. They were splitting with the ones. And Ty Malone was the more consistent, better player, playing more gap sound, pushed the pocket a little more against Luke Montgomery than Jason Moore did. But Jason Moore did have a batted ball, batted a Julian ball that, gosh, it was so low. I think I could have batted it. Let's talk about these freshmen, though. You know what? I do want to say Josh Mickens. Josh Mickens often overlooked. Josh Mickens last year in that room looked like a linebacker out of place, and he's put on some weight. He was moving really, really well, as was sophomore Dom Kirks. Dom Kirks, also often overlooked. Dom Kirks out of Painesville, flipped from Washington to Ohio State right before signing day, and we're talking about a kid who was a borderline top 150 prospect. And for a kid ranked that high, he gets less run than anybody I can think of that is ranked that high. Dom Kirks is coming around. Things are looking real natural for him. And he at some point is going to be somebody who's playing some snaps for the Bucks. I don't know if it'll be this year, but moving forward, looking at next year and looking at him, and looking at the two freshmen, because I'll tell you what, it looks like right now, hit and hit. 2 hits for Ziggy Grady and Epi Satanile. Zion was coming in with the 2 deep. Now, Logan George was out, so that could have been his spot. But it sure seems like they are prepping to give him an opportunity in game 2 and 3 against Grambling in Ohio. And if we see it there, we could see quite a bit of him this year. Now, he, of course, early enrolled. He's been since spring. Epi, who, when he committed to Ohio State, was 6'4", 220, 225, is now 6'4", 240. And he's got a frame that his legs aren't even that thick right now. Like, he's got a frame where he can get considerably bigger. He moves good. He's fluid. You can see the strength when he engages. I think you got 2 really big hits at edge last year. And for as concerned as we always are about edge recruiting, these 2 look like the real deal. And Kirks looks like he's going to be a solid player. If Grady and Epi, one of them is a stud, one of them is good, Kirks is good. I mean, things look pretty doggone stable right now moving forward at edge. But those 2 freshmen, and we're going to talk about quite a few of these freshmen, some freshmen were popping today. Freshmen were popping. So all in all, the defensive line looked pretty damn good. Moving over to the offensive line, I watched Ethan Anyanwa pull, and he gets out on his horse and he's coming in his crouch stance, kind of coming towards my direction. And it was one of the most terrifying things you could ever imagine, being in front of that guy coming at you like that. That is an enormous, this wide, just load of a dude, in the speed with which he moves, with what it looks like Josh Simmons is going to be in Kansas City right now. There's a real possibility that we could have 3 franchise tackles from Ohio State in the NFL after Ethan Anyanwa gets drafted. There's absolutely that possibility. The guy certainly got all the tools. He's got the tools. Man, he looks he is something. And the way he moves is great. Obviously, he's got already 2 years of college experience. It's going to be a big year for him. But the starting offensive line, let's start with the coaching. So we talk about the way they've got that broken down on the offensive line with Coach Bowen, Coach Dickey, Coach Johnson. You had Coach Dickey in the middle, and he was working with just two guys at a time. So he's working with two guys, real, individual coaching. And then you got Bowen over here with, it would have been like 7 guys over here. And Johnson over here with 7 guys over here. That is such a great system, the way they're coaching these guys. I mean, it just couldn't be any better. But Sierveld looked awesome. Carson, Luke, Tegra looked pretty damn good. And Anyanwa, that starting 5 is excellent. And then after that, we've talked about what are they going to, it's not who's the next tackle or who's the next guard up. It's who's the 6th best guy. And that certainly seems to be Ian Moore at this point. Now, the second team offensive line, I believe, was Ian Moore, Phillip Daniels, Jake Cook, Josh Padilla at center, and Gabe Van Sickle at the other guard. They didn't do so hot as a group. They did not do so hot as a group. But individually, each one of them played pretty doggone good. And watching them warm up was, okay, this room's got a lot of dudes who you could plug in and not be too awfully concerned about. But Gabe Van Sickle was a throw-in in the class of 24, a throw-in who wanted an offer from Michigan State, couldn't get it, so he committed to Northwestern. Justin Fry flipped him from Northwestern. When we talk about Ian Moore potentially being the 6th guy, the 7th guy, your options are Phil Daniels or Gabe Van Sickle, I think, right now. And I don't know if Gabe Van Sickle isn't that guy. I don't know if Gabe Van Sickle isn't that 7th guy. He was good. He was really, really good today. It's impressive as hell, man. It really is. So good for Gabe Van Sickle. Our guy, Jake Cook, a true freshman, got that locked down. He is the 2 deep left guard. And that is so impressive for a guy who almost didn't get an offer to Ohio State, was committed to Louisville, had to fight for his offer. So it was really cool. I mean, and it seems so obvious. I don't know what the question was about offering him. He moves so good. He's so strong. Got the drive. Phil Daniels, this dude has got the frame. Oh, Carter Lowe is unbelievable. Wow. It just looks so good moving forward. It looks so solid. I'm just enamored with that offensive line now. It's been such a cause of consternation over the last few years. It looks so great. So both the offensive and the defensive line, really, really impressive. Some excellent football players. We know where the concern is on the defensive line in that interior, but the starters are really, really good with K-Mac and Edric. So all you got to do there is get some solid performances out of Ty Malone and Will Smith Jr. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit for this team. I'm telling you, they looked so crisp for day 3. I had a smile on my face from ear to ear. Well, for a lot of reasons. I was just thrilled. I was thrilled to be there. I was thrilled to be able to watch that. It was so cool. But I ran into my buddy Ron James, so that was awesome. Ronnie from the Morning Roast. Now, I'm going to be on the Morning Roast with him on Wednesday morning. So check us out with Ron's co-host Q. That'll be 8 a.m. He's starting it back up on Monday. And that'll be, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Another Buckeye show that I think is an excellent. It's one of the ones I really enjoy, called the Morning Roast. And if you haven't seen Ron on here with me, he and I are fantastic together. We're going to do a show together at some point, a steady show. Because I just love, I love the way he sees things, and his laugh. I think his laugh is infectious and it makes me smile. So we're going to do that. But moving on, I did not get any looks today at the linebackers. I couldn't see the linebackers at all until they were in 11 on 11. And that was a real bummer because I wanted to check out Eli Lee, among other things, obviously, but did not get a good look at the linebackers. Didn't get a great look at the corners. Didn't get to see a ton of the corners, though I will say this. So the freshman corners, obviously, you got Devin Sanchez. You also got Jordan Woods. And remember, Jordan Woods is the guy that after Naeem Offord flipped from Oregon, or flipped to Oregon, Ohio State flipped Jordan Woods from Cincinnati. And Jordan Woods is a 6'4" corner. And when you watch his film, he looks like an outside linebacker. He hits like an outside linebacker. And I thought, man, that kid's not playing corner. He is out there lined up at corner. And he was going usually against Bodpin Miller, who's 6'5". And they look the same size out there. And it is just strange watching a corner that big. But man, does he move. I don't know how the kid was a 3-star. I really don't. Because with that skill set, in that frame, wow, pretty interesting as to what they could potentially work in with him. Fahim Delane is a unit, a total unit. This Caleb Downs at nickel thing, that was what they lined up in base. They came out right off the rip. Their first look was Caleb Downs at nickel and Jalen McClain and Malik Hartford at the safeties. If that's what you're coming out in as base, I think we're going to see a lot of this. I think we're going to see a whole lot of this package. Now, when they took a safety off and moved Caleb back, who stayed in? Our Iron Buckeye, Jalen McClain. It did appear like it was Hartford who had the edge in the spring for that role. It's kind of looking like McClain has taken it back, and I wouldn't be surprised if that Iron Buckeye had something to do with it. By the way, I don't know that we've gone over it on this show yet, but the Iron Buckeyes, we should take a look here. I'll load that up. We'll go over that when I'm done with my recap of my day. So that's that for the safeties. IGB looks tremendous. And I predicted IGB was going to have a fantastic year and win all the Buckeye fans back who were not happy with him because of the penalties, because the penalties skew what everybody thinks of him. He is a playmaker who's made big time plays in big time games, and he was tremendous. Apparently he has been tremendous all 3 practices is what everybody was saying today. So good for him, man. Happy for him. Bryce West looked pretty good today. Wide receiver wise, Jeremiah made apparently a spectacular catch that I couldn't see because of the angle I was on, but you know, the people who were on the one side of the field got to see it, where Bryce West was covering him perfectly. And he was able to just reach down with one hand and catch it with his left hand. So I missed that. That was a bummer. But let's talk about the running backs. I was not expecting, despite what CJ Donaldson is listed at, how big he is. My goodness, that dude doesn't look like a running back. He looks like you could flip flop him and Josh Mickens. That's wild. That's a really, really big guy. And he runs good. And James Peoples runs good. But like I've said for a while now, Bo Jackson is different. Bo Jackson creates when it's not there like none of them can. When it's not there, Bo Jackson makes something out of it in a different way than anybody else does. And he has the ability to take it to the house. We talk about Devin Sanchez being a freshman that's just too good to keep off the field. I don't know if there's not going to be a point if Bo learns, his protections, which I assume he will, and he's obviously big enough to handle it. You might reach that stage if you're getting into a stale run game here or there as a change of pace. So let's bring in Bo and see what he can do. And all of a sudden, Bo shows out and starts creating where it wasn't there for other guys. And then you just have to keep playing him. That or ball security. If either one of those two at the top mess around and give Locke a reason, Bo's not going to give it back. He's just so good. He really is. And I hold Peoples in pretty high regard. I'm really getting to like Donaldson as well, but Bo's he's a unique talent, man. A unique talent. And I got to tell you, Isaiah, my guy Isaiah West, who didn't even get to play, didn't get to run the ball today, he looks just tremendous, just tremendous. Turbo Rogers didn't have much going for him today, but apparently he had a great Friday. And between Turbo and Isaiah, Bo, Donaldson, Peoples, Sam Dixon, what Locke has done is the same thing in that running back room that Laurinaitis has done in the linebacker room, which is also the same thing that Keenan Bailey has done in the tight end room, because we all know how good Nate Roberts is going to be, freshman Nate Roberts. It's Brody Lennon, the unheralded tight end, that was making the plays today. And Brody, the better athlete, not quite as big. Brody, as fast, top end speed as Bo Jackson. A sick athlete. So you've got tight end, linebacker, and running back rooms that are now just loaded. And they weren't just a couple of years ago, the 2023 season. None of those rooms were loaded. They're all loaded now. That 23 team, a hop, skip, and a jump from a national championship. And this team loaded like that one never was. And it's just amazing. Couldn't be happier with that. So the quarterbacks, Julian Sayin is, he's just a creator, kind of like Bo. He's a creator. He looks great on the move. He improvises. He's accurate on the run. He's the guy here. That's for sure. I don't know. We'll put it this way. If there's another 2 days where it's that lopsided, you kind of want to have a guy and a game plan for a couple of weeks before you roll into that Texas game, which means maybe give this another week and a half and then name the starting quarterback. I guess it's been closer than this. People said that Lincoln was the guy day one, but I think there's a difference between, all right, things are close, you're going to give the nod to Lincoln, who's having a good day, or things are close, you're going to give the nod to Julian, who's having a good day, or then somebody's just having a bad day and the other guy's having a pretty good day. Lincoln was having a real bad day, and it's a real bad day that'll lose you a game, and you can't really afford to have a real bad day. I'm sure everybody has a bad day, but this was just like, dude, even the inaccurate balls were like, they weren't close. And I don't know. It was discouraging, I'm sure, for him. He didn't have it, but if he strings together a couple of those, I don't see how they don't just get set with Julian and start going, you're all right, you're the guy, get it in your head, let's go. But hey, a couple other freshmen I did want to go over. Quincy Porter, this made me laugh. Caleb Downs put the clamps on Quincy Porter. 6'4", 5-star wide receiver Quincy Porter. Caleb Downs in coverage. Elite, like an elite cornerback. It was wild. The dude is so good, he can do anything. Phillip Bell, freshman wide receiver, certified future dude, had a couple of catches, and we got to see Des Jones with a nice grab, freshman Des Jones out of DePaul in New Jersey, as well as BP. BP had a long catch, so that was great to see too. Everybody was really excited for BP. And that's what I got, guys. So that was practice on Saturday. A ton of fun to watch. I will have some more comments about it and some more overall stuff tomorrow, Monday, on Buckeye Primetime. That'll be at 8:00 on Monday and Wednesday. So join me Monday at 8:00, Buckeye Huddle Primetime, and I'm going to bring some of your comments on. If you guys got some comments from the first couple of days of practice, I'll be pulling some of those up on Buckeye Huddle Primetime at 8 p.m. on Monday over on the Buckeye Huddle channel. And if you want to check out after practice on the Buckeye Huddle channel, me and Mark did a video, and then we passed off our microphones to Tom and Tony, and they did their video right after us, which was pretty fun. But an awesome day. Fantastic stuff. I want to thank you guys, those of you who have reached out to congratulate me, or all the messages that I've seen on Twitter that have been really supportive. You guys are awesome. Obviously, as you can tell, kind of living a dream right now that I never really knew I had. But it's just been amazing, and I couldn't do any of it without you. So I thank you all so much, and I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon. Chuck 'em Bucks out.